All right, you guys, next story. So DaBaby, okay, mama named him Jonathan Lindell Kirk. Apparently, Mr. Kirk was at his home in North Carolina last week. He was enjoying a quiet evening at home and not quite sure how this all went down. I'm assuming he has security cameras all over his compound. He has a huge property in North Carolina. He has huge privacy fences up all over his property. He has a huge football field on his property. And apparently, he found out that there was a trespasser that was on his football field. Okay. And Mr. Kirk, I don't know if security wasn't around or if he felt like this was a situation that he could take care of himself, but he proceeded to go to the football field and confronted the intruder. The intruder knew who he was, knew his name and all this, and DaBaby pulled out this gun and shot him. Last week, right after I had did Top of the Blogs, I saw that, you know, there was a call, there was a 911 call that the police had gone out to his property and there wasn't really much else said. After I had did the Top of the Blogs, you going to work? Yeah. After I did my Top of the Blogs, then I saw that after I did my Top of the Blogs, then the 911 call actually was released. And that was when we really found out that DaBaby had did the shooting, because at first they were just saying that there was a shooting there. I had just assumed that it would have been with his security, but oh no, you guys. So the 911 call was released, and if you heard the 911 call, it is very matter of fact that there is no nerves there, ain't nobody scared or nothing. He calls, he says, I just shot somebody, they was on my property, you need to get here, okay? And the operator was just like, kind of like, what? And he was just like, I shot somebody. You know, why? Because they were on my property. Oh, okay. Well, can you see him? Yeah, he right in front of me. You can hear the man in the background. He's like, oh. Okay. And she was just like, you know, why'd you shoot him? Because he was on my property. He wasn't supposed to be on my property. He knew my name. So I shot him. Where did you shoot him? I shot him in his leg. Okay. And it was just really, really calm. They had sped up the 911 call. I'm not quite sure why, but so his voice kind of had like a Mickey Mouse sound to it. But you could still tell that he was very calm, and he was just sort of like, yeah, I shot him. Yeah, I shot him because he was on my property. He's right here. He's on the floor. You know, he ain't going nowhere. Y'all need to get here. Okay, and they said that when the police did get there, that he was cooperative with them. Apparently, they wanted him to put his gun down, and he was like, no, I'm not putting this gun down. Before the police got there, they were like, you know, you're going to have to get rid of the gun or whatever, or put the gun down. And he was like, no, because I don't know if there's more people here. You know, I need to make sure that I'm safe. So he had already made it clear that he wasn't putting his gun away, and that he got this man and he's on the ground. As far as he knows, this is the only person, but he wasn't sure. So when the police came, there weren't any issues. They was able to apprehend the guy. And Mr. Kirk did put out a statement that he chose to spare a nigga's life that day, you know, that person didn't deserve to die. So he didn't shoot him to kill him. He just shot him in his leg, and he felt great. Okay. And he said that, you know, he hope old boy gonna be okay. Just don't come back to his property. All right. So, you know, look, what can you do? People on your property. We already know that Mr. Kirk has no problem wielding the gun and using the gun. He is one of the very few people that we know that have shot and killed somebody. It's hard to shoot people. From what I understand, they say that it's difficult to shoot people. I mean, I understand that if you are scared enough that you will do what you have to do, but you know, he gonna do it. He gonna do it. And the fact that security wasn't the one that went and shot him, and that he went actually to go and look and see what was going on. Y'all gonna quit playing with DaBaby and his person. Okay, whatever's going on around him, you need to leave him alone. Leave his space. Don't be there, because he definitely will take the gun and he will use the gun. I wasn't mad. You have to protect what's yours, and there's many people out there, even though this sounds like this might have just been an overzealous fan, there's people out there who have all kind of motives that you don't realize and understand or know what they're coming to do, you know, and they could be doing some real damage. And if you have your family and people there that you need to protect, then yeah, you do what you got to do. So I wasn't mad, but Yeah, y'all gonna quit playing with the baby. Okay, because he has no problem blasting the flat jam. Next story. Joseline. Joseline said, baby, I got 99 problems, but none of these bitches is one. As we hear about the lawsuit for $25 million that has come down, where the ladies from the show, the third season in particular of Joseline's Cabaret, have joined together and filed a lawsuit against Joseline and I guess her team, saying that she ambushed them at the reunion. So we're still waiting on this reunion to be aired by Zeus. It hasn't been aired, but they now have a super trailer out that shows, but it doesn't really show exactly what happened. But I guess it's going to give us some insight. I'm sure that they are not going to show because they would be incriminating themselves. I don't think the girls have named Zeus Network in this lawsuit, but I guess they could if they wanted to. So we're going to see how Zeus handles this reunion. But anyway, at the reunion, the girls say that they got all gussied up, sexy, cute. They had on their heels, they had on their dresses, their skirts, they, hair done, makeup done, all of this. They came and sat their ass down for the reunion. And then when Joseline showed up, Joseline had on denim and combat boots. Now, if you guys watched the reunion for the 6th season of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, you guys will remember that Joseline and Stevie J kind of did this very same tactic when Joseline came out there and continued to beat the asses of Benzino, Althea, Tammy Rivera. Remember all that big ass fight that they had? Okay. She was dressed down for that reunion as well. Well, now at this reunion for Joseline's Cabaret season 3, she came dressed down, and that right there I would have already known that Joseline was about to be with the shits. And they basically said that as soon as they got in there, that Joseline got as soon as she got there, that she commenced to beating some ass. Honey, they say that Joseline was out there stomping and kicking and swinging and choking and whatever else she had to do to all of these women on that stage that was sitting up there cute, okay? They didn't have their defenses up. They did not know that this was about to go down. They said that her team also held them down so that they couldn't do anything but take what was coming towards them. And that was the hurricane that is Joseline Hernandez. And of course, Joseline seemed to confirm that all this went on when she put all these tweets out. You guys, let me read some of the tweets to you real fast. First, she put Mortal Kombat. Then she put, y'all hoes stay out my dick and go get you some money. Mind you, all you hoes, forever my hoes. You work for me until you die. Then she said, I ain't gonna never stop. And then she put another one bites the dust. This one tweet that I think that's gonna give her the problem. Okay, she basically said, I Mortal Kombat one hoe, pimp slapped another one, pushed one into last night's episode, kicked, K-I-K-E-D, kicked down a few on the ground. I slapped fire out of everyone on that stage, me and my crew. Wait for it. Joseline's Cabaret, Las Vegas. Okay? She basically is confirming everything that these girls said. I told you guys that there was going to be a lawsuit. Like I said, I don't know if the girls named Zeus in this lawsuit or if it's just against Joseline and her crew, but we all knew that this case was coming. We all knew that this case was going to be with many of the women, because I think it was just one girl that initially went to the hospital. I think her name is Ebony. She went to the hospital. She was the one that was saying that she was going to sue. And then we found out that woman after woman, some of the ladies started to tack on to that lawsuit. And now I think there's 4 women. I don't know which ones it is exactly, but there are 4 women, I believe, that are in this lawsuit that is, that they're pressing charges against Joseline. Joseline seemed to think that if you were on a reality show and you signed a contract that you wouldn't sue anybody, that kept you from suing somebody. Okay, but these are criminal charges now. That completely takes out of the contract. You cannot go and beat people's ass, period. So if these girls were harmed on this show, when this show is supposed to take, precautions and supposed to make sure that they're safe, They not on the show to get their ass beat. They on the show to have to be in this cabaret. So you can't just go out here willy-nilly just hiked up on coke and shit and then decide to beat everybody ass. Now, one thing we will say is Joseline is going to fight. That Joseline is definitely a fighter. And for her to be at all of these women and was able to get to them, is they're saying is because they were ambushed, they were held down, they didn't expect it. They said she kept on yelling Gucci gang. All right. And then even in one of her tweets, she posted a picture of her Gucci combat boots as if she planned this whole thing out. So they're saying that this whole thing was premeditated. And that's why, they're suing, because she had already come with the intentions of beating some ass. $25 million. Joseline doesn't seem to be upset about it or bothered about it. She's been tweeting about the reunion. I think the reunion comes on Sunday. I think they're going to air it on Zeus on Sunday. Like I said, the trailer is out there. You can't really tell what's going on in the trailer. And it'll be interesting to see how Zeus, how they present this reunion to us to make sure that they don't look like they were guilty in aiding Joseline and her crew to beat these girls' ass. At one point in the clip, we do see one of the producers that's telling one of the camera crew people that's telling them, like, we need you guys to come out there. People don't just want to see you guys fighting. We need to have conversation, dialogue. You guys need to sit down. You need to talk. So they were trying to tell them that that's what they needed to do, but everybody was just so pumped up and just amped up and ready. And like I said, they said 20 seconds after Joseline got out there, she was ready to start beating some ass. So I don't know. But I have a feeling that we won't be seeing much more of Joseline's cabaret. Joseline says that she has a new show. She hasn't said where it is. We don't know anything about that. But before she can start on a new show, I'm sure she's going to have to get these legal problems out of her way. So we'll see what goes on. But $25 million, and them bitches was like, fuck you, pay me. Okay, so we going to see, you guys. It ain't looking good, though. Not looking good for Miss Joseline. You might have to come up off of $1 or $2. And we'll see if Zeus gets dragged in that lawsuit as well. All right, you guys, next story up. So it seems that Future, your boy Future. Okay, mama named him Naveed. What's his name? Naveed? I can't think of his last name. But Future was being interviewed the other day, and Future said, listen, he don't mind that you guys call him toxic. He's used to being compared to the word or being synonymous with the word when it comes to the relationships that he's had with these different women. But he wants you guys to know that the women that he all was involved with, they were toxic and that they just would never admit it. How he gonna sit up here and tell us that these ladies was toxic? Were they toxic after they got involved with your ass? Because we know Future is a whole lot. Actually, Future told us in this interview that he loves hard. He loves deep. Probably nobody loves as hard as he does. He was able to tap into that side of him when he started working with Drake, when he started, having conversations with Kanye, that these are the people that allowed him to open himself up and kind of appreciate the person and the love that he might feel for them, as it was. So he says that, yeah, he's gotten a bad rap all this time. And the fact that the nigga done been with these women, got 8 kids, 8 baby mamas, don't want to take care of them, going to court, saying that he don't have the money, claiming that these kids are not his, even though he's been having sex with these women without condoms and all of that. Yeah, he said that all of them was toxic. So just to let y'all know, y'all got my boy pegged all wrong. Let him tell it. And apparently he has a new album that's coming out, and that album is also going to show his more vulnerable side. Yeah, so I'm just like, okay, Future, just put out the music and let us go from there. I mean, he puts out the music that the people want to hear. So yeah, you guys, y'all stop being so hard on Future. He say he not as bad as y'all made him out to be. All right, you guys, next story up. So Chadwick Walker, he was an actor in the movie Superfly back in 2018. Not familiar with him, never saw the movie Superfly. I don't know who he is, okay? But apparently in 2018, 4 months after the movie came out, then he was hit with all of these felony sexual assault charges. There were 9 felony sexual assault charges, 3 counts of sexual penetration with foreign objects, and 1 count of forcible oral copulation. They said that he was sophisticated in his approach to sexually assaulting these women, and that he would use his experience in the entertainment industry to lure women in. He would give them the impression that he was helping them with their career. These would be aspiring actresses, aspiring models. In some cases, he presented himself as a photographer that was in the industry, and that these women were coming to take photo shoots, maybe for their portfolios, and that when they would get there, that was when he would attack them. So the women were non-suspecting. The fact that he would drop names like Halle Berry and different people that he had worked with in the industry, he would impress these women and they would believe him, took him at face value. And they believed that over 30 women had been raped or sexually assaulted by Chadwick Walker, okay? But they weren't able to bring all of those women into this lawsuit. There ended up only being 10 women that were involved in the lawsuit. And so this happened over a time from 2013 to 2018. Of these 10 women, there were 3 women that were found that he was acquitted on. But the other 7 women, he was actually found guilty for the charges that were brought upon him. And now Chadwick Walker is facing many, many years in jail. He had up to 100 years to life, which is, I don't know how that's a strange way to put it, because life is only 25 years, right? But the way that the paperwork reads is 100 years to life in prison for these 7 women. When the verdict was read in court the other day, he cried and yelled out that he was innocent, that he did not rape anybody, that he did not rape these women. Like I said, I was not familiar with this story at all. I don't even remember when this happened, but they said that back when the story first came out, Kalani, who was also in Superfly with this man, she ended up believing the victims. And so she was very supportive of the victims who were out saying that this had happened to them. And apparently on the blogs, people were giving them a hard time, saying that they were lying. You know how it can be in social media, giving the victims, making them feel like they were the ones that weren't telling the truth, and gave them such a hard time. So now that he has been found guilty, of course, those women that were the victims feel very much vindicated. Kalani and one of the victims who was in the lawsuit actually put out videos saying that they remember very well who were the blogs and the different people that were saying that they were lying and that was giving them such a hard time and making their lives very miserable. I mean, one of the victims said that she had been living in a nightmare ever since it happened, because everybody looked at her as if she was the one that did something to him instead of vice versa. So definitely this is good that they won their case, and now we are just waiting on him to go back to court May 27th for his sentencing. When I was doing the research on him, I actually looked at a hashtag of his name, and I found a video on Instagram of him, just going off on Kalani, saying that he was going to post some videos that was going to incriminate her or make her look like she was lying and the things that she said. But he is yelling and screaming in the video, belligerent, saying how he's facing 100 years, but all his charges was dropped, but bitch, he was coming after Kalani, all of this, okay? Now, he seemed to think back then that everything was being dropped. Everything was not dropped. Like I said, even though they had over 30 women, only these 10 women were involved in the lawsuit, and only 7 of them were they able to get the lawsuit to stick, or the charges to stick. But yeah, you guys, going to jail for a long time. I don't feel sorry for anybody who has done these type of things to women. So what can I say? Maybe he can rehabilitate while he's in jail. But if he has ruined the lives of these women, these women that are in this lawsuit and the other women that didn't get to be a part of the lawsuit, then he needs to pay. And that's just sort of how it is. So I'm sorry, you guys, I'm looking up at my notes. So I'll probably in the video, I'm probably looking all over the place. Let me continue to look at the camera here. But yeah, Chadwick Walker going to jail for a long, long, long time. Next story up, you guys. Prayers up for Apple Watts. You guys know she is fighting for her life as she was in a car accident. Looks like she was driving from Los Angeles. I don't know if she was driving, but she was in a car going from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. You guys know that she has family in both places, and that on her way on the highway to Vegas, that she got into a car accident. She didn't have her seatbelt on, apparently. She was ejected from the car, and that she suffered severe injuries from the accident. They said that she had 2 breaks in her neck, a shattered arm, and a brain injury, okay? And that she was comatose from then on. I'm not sure if it's coma from her own doing, you know, from the accident, or if this is something that the hospital has induced on her because she might have the brain injuries. Her brain might be swollen. They might just try to calm all that down by keeping her comatose. But she has not been awake since this accident. The accident happened, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks ago. Okay. And I haven't really seen anything else that has talked about what's going on, other than the fact that her sister posted that she's had numerous surgeries, and that the last surgery that I knew of was them doing surgery on her eye, that she wasn't able to close her eye. So they were doing surgery on the eye, I guess, to repair maybe the muscle that was damaged in her eye. But as far as I know, she is still in a coma. She is still fighting for her life, and she is really, really damaged from this car accident. I'm assuming that if she does come out of the coma, then she is going to be having some health challenges, probably for a long time, to maybe even the rest of her life. So very, very sad, because you guys know that we loved Apple Watts. It was clear that Apple was going through some shit, that Apple was very much back on drugs. And, you know, there was issues. The last season that she was on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood actually was very embarrassing, because it was clear that she wasn't okay. I don't know what's been going on with her since then. I haven't followed her, but to hear about this accident a couple of weeks ago, and last week I meant to talk about it in the top of blogs, and I forgot as well, but I wanted to make sure that we remember to keep the prayers up for Apple, because she isn't doing good, you guys. And it's too bad. She had a lot of promise. So many people really, really liked her when she first came on the show. And I think that, you know, just the pressures of Hollywood, I think a lot of that got to her. And has affected her. But now she's in the fight for her life, and we're just gonna, you know, send a prayer up and hope that she's able to pull through. So that is the latest on Apple Watts. We're hoping for a full recovery. Keep your head up, Apple. Hope you feel better soon. Next story up, you guys. So they say that your girl Ashanti might be out there plagiarizing, you guys. Who would ever thought that Miss Ashanti would go and steal a children's book from a Philadelphia author? But that's what they're saying, you guys. So apparently Ashanti has announced that she has a children's book coming out, and the name of the book is My Name is a Story. Shortly after she announced that her book was coming out, the Philadelphia author by the name of Jamila Tompkins Bigelow, she came out and said that she has a book by the name of Your Name is a Song. And she's saying that the books are very much similar, and that Ashanti stole her concept. She puts the picture, she posted a picture of both of the covers, which both show a little black girl with her arms spread out open, kind of like rainbow colors behind the little girl, you know, and, you know, with the title of the book on there. And then also the author shared the synopsis. I'm going to read the synopsises for both of the stories to you, and you guys let me know if you think that they are similar. Okay, so first is Ashanti's. It says, first days aren't easy for a girl with a name like Ashanti. It feels like no one can pronounce it correctly, but when she talks to her mom, Ashanti learns that names have meanings and deserve to be said and loved out loud. Her name tells her story. Inspired by Ashanti's own experience, this poetic celebration shares the joy that one child finds in her name and reminds us to honor all the different names. Okay, so that is Ashanti's synopsis. Let's read Miss Bigelow's synopsis. Frustrated by a day full of teachers and classmates mispronouncing her beautiful name, a little girl tells her mother she never wants to come back to school. In response, the girl's mother teaches her about the musicality of African, Asian, Black American, Latin, X, and Middle Eastern. Now, y'all told me don't be saying Latinx, but that's what they said in the synopsis. So I'm just telling y'all, I'm not saying that this is what they said. Latinx and Middle Eastern names on their lyrical walk home through the city. Empowered by this newfound understanding, the young girl is ready to return the next day to share her knowledge with her class. Your Name is a Song is a celebration to remind all of us about the beauty, history, and magic behind names. Now, not only do the stories sound similar, but the fucking synopsis sounds similar. I'm talking about the way that they structured the paragraphs actually sound similar, you know? Now, I don't know if Ashanti, how hands-on she was with this children's book, you know, if she just kind of contributed a little bit to it. You guys, we have found out with the shit that happened with old girl, what's her name? The one who they were saying had stole the book, the planner. I can't even think of her name. You guys know who I'm talking about, the B. Simone. We found out through B. Simone's situation that a lot of times people will just put their name on something. They just kind of will oversee what was written, and then they'll say, okay, yeah, I like it, let's put it out. Didn't really contribute to the story or anything like that. And that could be what has happened with Ashanti. Somebody might have approached her with this idea and she signed off on it, put her name on it, and let that go. So I don't know how hands-on Ashanti was, but these stories sound very, very similar. Like I said, the synopsis is even written up similarly. So I think old girl is she. Now, I don't even know if she has a lawsuit. Right now, she's only accusing Ashanti of plagiarism. But if she is serious about her work, I would imagine that a lawsuit will probably be coming. If they can't seem to work out something here, then I'm sure she's going to take this further. Because she was like, you know, in her post, she was just like, my head is hurting. Like, did Ashanti really just steal my whole concept of my children's book? You know, so what y'all think? Now, I done read the synopsises to you, and they are very, very similar to me, but maybe y'all might see it differently. But Ashanti girl, is you out there stealing stories? As an unpublished writer, I should say. Yeah, you're protective of your work. You don't want to have the idea of somebody stealing your shit. So I'm sure Miss Bigelow, I think this ain't going to be the last that we hear of her. All right, you guys, next story up. Let's talk about your girl, Tokyo Toni, who was kicked out of the courtroom. Court, okay? It sounds like she might be from LA the way she says court. She's a courtroom. Because she threatened the Kardashians, and the Kardashians told the judge that they were afraid of Miss Tokyo Toni. Quiet as it's kept, I'm afraid of Tokyo Toni. But I'll tell you what, that damn Tokyo Toni, if she ain't got the niggified correspondence outside of the courthouse and giving us the play-by-play of what happened while she was in the courthouse, I know something. I'm telling you guys, that child is very entertaining. She done told us you know, what happened on the day that she got kicked out. The fact that it was real weird in there, she said. You know, she said that the sex tape subject came up and it made Kim very uncomfortable. She said that Khloe just seems to be in some sort of trance, that she just shakes her head, you know, no matter what is said up there, even if it's some negative shit about her, you know, she just kind of shakes her head. She said that all of them look really, really bad. She says that, you know, they've got pock marks and their faces is real twisted and weird, and, you know, I will say that I saw Kim Kardashian on, was it Ellen? No, it was The View. She was on something the other day, and I was like, what is going on with her face? You guys, it was strange. Now, I don't know if I've seen Kim in like, or maybe she was on Kelly Clarkson. She was on one of the morning shows that I watch. Her lips was so big. I know that she gets fillers in her lips, but she must have just got it done because they were bigger than they normally would look, and it looked weird. But her whole face looked strange. And you know, these high definition TVs, when it's on like a live feed, that give you the true for real look. It ain't got no filters and shit when something is taped and all of that. So I was just looking like, ooh, what is going on with Miss Kim Kardashian's face? Anyway, so Tokyo Tony is telling us everything that's going on in there. But like I said, they didn't put her ass out because they said that Tokyo Tony was giving them grief, okay? Did you guys see the video when she's walking around the courthouse and bitch is just doing laps around the courthouse with her lawyer? It was supposed to look like, yeah, you know what? You guys are not going to shut me up. You know that this isn't the last you've heard of Tokyo Tony. But you guys, when you see them come around that corner and they just walk right by the camera, child, I couldn't help but laugh. But the days in court. So, of course, you guys know that BlacChyna is suing for $100 million because she is saying that the Kardashians is the reason why her show with Rob was canceled. She's saying that they got her show killed, and because her show was killed, that she's no longer able to make the money that she was going to make from the show. Okay. So the show only lasts one season. You guys remember when the show came out is when we found out that she was pregnant, and her and Rob got on this show. And we really feel like Rob and her were on this show just to get back at the family, that Rob was mad at the family. BlacChyna probably had her feelings with Kylie and the fact that Tyga and Kylie was together at the time. All of that. Okay. So the show got killed. Okay. What we are trying to determine in court right now is whether or not Kim Kardashian, Khloe, and the mom, Kris Jenner, if they are the ones that are responsible for pulling the plug on the show. Now, somewhere halfway through the show, BlacChyna and Rob never had a steady relationship. I mean, it never was stable, I should say. It was always some shit. They was fighting all the time. It was clear that they weren't going to be together for any length of time. I was surprised that they even had this show because it was clear that this shit was not going to last. But, so I don't even know how much longer the show could have lasted. They broke up somewhere along the way. And how do you have a show with Rob and Chyna when Rob and Chyna are not together? I guess Chyna is trying to say that they could have parlayed that into something else, maybe them trying to work on their relationship or whatever. But if Rob didn't want to participate, she wasn't really going to have a show anyway. Okay. But BlacChyna still is saying, damn it, she was going to have the show and they didn't cut her out of her $100 million. So it came out yesterday in court that Kris Jenner was sending text messages to the higher-ups at the E! Network. It was saying that they needed to kill the show because, Rob is with Chyna, and she's like, she's really ghetto, and she's stupid, and they just needed to get rid of this show. They also say that BlacChyna was abusing Rob. They said that she tried to strangle him with an iPhone cord charger. They said at one point she held a gun to his head and threatened him. They said that they've had physical confrontations between the two of them, that at one time Corey Gamble had to break them up, a fight that they were having. And they said that the toxic nature of their relationship was the reason why they felt like the show did not need to go on. And that was the reason why E! Network supposedly canceled the show, and that Kris Jenner didn't have anything to do with the decision that was made. They were very, very concerned. Now, BlacChyna said that she felt betrayed by the shit that, Kylie did apparently, and then Kim cut her off because Kim is more loyal, obviously, to her sister than she is. So she felt betrayed by Kim and Kylie, and, that she was upset that they cut the show off. She said that when she had the phone cord around his neck, that she was just playing. And that when she held the gun up to him, that she had no intentions of shooting him. She knew that the gun was empty and that she was just playing and just kind of saying, if you ever leave me, I'll kill you. But it wasn't. But listen, just listening to that kind of shit. First of all, you guys put yourselves in Kris Jenner's shoes. If you had a son that was in a relationship that was being exploited on a TV show, and you knew the people that could be responsible for keeping the show on or taking it off, wouldn't you have used whatever you could do to try to get that show taken off? Where Kris Jenner messed up was putting that shit in writing or having it on a text message. Any kind of history of what you said needed to just be verbal. It didn't need to be something that they could pull up later like they have, and now those those text messages are going around and making Kris look bad. But I'm still saying that show was a fucking train wreck from the beginning. Okay, I couldn't believe that EE was being messy just putting that show out there, because BlacChyna and Rob, it was clear that both of them had some mental struggles that they was dealing with. You had them on this show. They were fighting all the time. I mean, nobody wants to see. I mean, people want to see it clearly. But as a family member, as a mother, I probably would have done the exact same thing that Kris did. Okay, was it right? Well, I don't know. That's still what we're trying to figure out. But what I'm saying is, I don't blame Kris for trying to, So people just hate the Kardashians so much that they don't want to look at the whole full picture and know that BlacChyna was a problem. And it was just going to get worse with Rob. Rob is not an advocate for himself. He can't speak up. We already know Rob has his issues. And BlacChyna was definitely going to railroad that boy, railroad him. So if they would have stayed on the show, it would have just gotten worse and worse and worse. And I don't think that show would have made it past 2 seasons, because something really bad might have happened. So it might have been a blessing in disguise that the show was taken off. But Chyna is still determined to fight this and say that, they are the reasons why she was cut out of a whole bunch of money. So the case goes on. But what do you guys feel about it? Okay, I know people don't like the Kardashians, so they just want them to pay in any kind of way. But I want you to put yourself in them shoes and just kind of look at it from that view. If you had a family member that was going through this shit on TV and obviously couldn't speak for their damn self for whatever reason, would you have stepped in and tried to get it taken care of? Or would you have just let it play out on TV and your fucking family be a damn mess? Your son, your child, be a damn mess on TV, and then you gonna have to pick up the pieces at some point later on in life. Okay, y'all tell me what you would have did. But yeah, this case is going on. But the holding guns to heads and shit, I mean, that don't alarm y'all a little bit and let you know that no, he might have been liable if something would have happened to that boy, or if something would have happened to the girl. He could have snapped one day and just went off on her. So you just kind of never know. So yeah, no, I think. Tell me what you guys think about it. Y'all on the Kardashian side, or y'all on the Chyna side, or do you not care? Because that's always an option too. All right, you guys, next story real quick. So Shaq was on the Pivot podcast. We've been talking about them quite a bit lately, right? They're the same ones that said that Sierra wouldn't have been with Russell Wilson if he didn't have any money. Child, it's always some shit. But now we had Shaq on the show. You guys actually tell me that the podcast is good, and it's just that every now and then I guess one of them will say something stupid. I mean, I guess we all are guilty of saying something stupid every now and again. So, I mean, we'll give him a pass on that. But anyway, Shaq was on the show, and one of the hosts was talking with Shaq about divorce. And it was funny because the host was kind of trying to make it seem like, he was saying to Shaq that, when people get divorced, it's always 2 people in a relationship. It's never just one person that's fully guilty. The other person had something to do, Anyway, he was kind of trying to put it out there that way. And Shaq just immediately took over and was just like, no, that's not the case here. When he was married to Shawnee, he said he had a great wife. He had a great mother. She gave him all his beautiful kids. She took care of him, took care of the family, took care of the corporate stuff, the business stuff, whatever it took to make that family move, she did it. did everything that she was supposed to do. And Shaq said it was all on me. He said he was not a good husband, that he was not protecting the vows. He was not protecting her. Okay. And he was out there, you know, during the time that they were married was when Shaq was at his height in his career. And Shaq was the man in LA. And if you were from Los Angeles, you heard plenty of stories, and you around my age, you done heard plenty of stories about Shaq and how he was out there. I mean, you didn't even have to be from LA. I mean, fuck, we already knew about Laura Govan and the fact that she had messed with Shaq all that time. And she wasn't the only one. There were many, many other women that Shani had to deal with. And, you know, it ruined their marriage, you know, and Shaq acknowledged that. He said that it was all on him. He got caught up because he was the man. So, you know, he was just out there, he wilding, doing whatever the fuck he want with whoever the fuck he want, all these women, and it ruined his marriage. You know, he said that he did lose a good woman in Shani. At one point, they tried to get back together. I think that it was around the time when she was with that younger guy. You guys remember she was with the younger guy? What was his name? Marlon or something? I can't even remember what his name was, but she was with the younger guy, and I think they had broken up for a minute, and her and Shaq tried to see if they could work it out. I think they worked on it for maybe a year and a half, and then she finally was like, no, this is not going to work. Fully got the divorce, moved on with her life. We now know that she is engaged to the pastor out there in Houston, Texas. She is now a first lady of a church. And she has already moved on, and I'm assuming that Shaq has moved on, you know, and we've seen him in different relationships. Nothing really serious, but we've seen him, like, there's no hope that these two, I don't even think these two are trying to be back together or anything, but it was cool to see that he just took accountability. He admitted that he made the mistake. It was him that fucked up the relationship, that it wasn't on her, wasn't going to allow anybody to put it on her and all that. And I'm sure that had to make Shani feel good too. Okay. Like I said, many of us already knew that Shaq was out there. All right. But it always feels good when you finally put it on public record that I wasn't the bitch that was tripping, that it was him that was out there that was doing. Okay. So, yeah. I'm going to have to check out this Pivot podcast, you guys, because, you know, we 2 for 2 now. It's like when I saw that guy was just trying to say, no, but you did, you know, you did your thing and she did. He was like, no, that's not true. That's not what it was. Okay. So, yeah, but you guys let me know what you did. Had you guys heard the stories about Shaq? I mean, the Laura Govan story was enough, but it was way many more than, you know, it was way more Laura Govans out there with Shaq than we knew. So, yeah. Shani had to deal with it, you guys, until she wasn't dealing with it no more. And now Shaq can be, you know, he can be truthful about how he messed up that relationship. So I could appreciate it. Did you guys see the interview? And then lastly, you guys was asking me if I had watched the First Lady, the depiction of the First Lady that Viola Davis had done. And no, you guys, I didn't watch it. I had plans on watching it. And then when I saw the clips from it and saw the still pictures from it, and I saw Viola Davis's mouth like this, the whole time, you guys, I couldn't even, as soon as I looked at the pictures, and every single picture and every single clip, her mouth is like this. I was like, did nobody tell Viola that it was overkill on the mouth, like ixnay on the ipslay? It looks so bad, like all of them. And she's laying down. In one picture, I see her laying down and she's like this. Another picture, she's talking and she's like this. And I was just like, I know that Michelle Obama holds her mouth a certain kind of way, but Viola Davis exaggerated it so much that I couldn't even concentrate on anything else that was going on because I already knew that I was going to be laughing at her mouth. So I was just like, I'm not even going to watch the show right now. She probably did a very good job. Viola Davis is one of my favorite actresses. But I will say that when they told me that she was going to be playing Michelle Obama, I already was just sort of like, I mean, I guess, you know, but it felt like, you know, it just felt like it could have been somebody else. I'm going to keep it 100 with you guys. It felt like it didn't have to be Viola Davis. And then this whole mouth situation. You know, if you guys see the pictures? Every single one, her mouth was like this. And I was just like, nobody during the recording of that whole film, nobody said, Viola, you can loosen up, you know, bring out the tension, bring some of the lip situation, just bring it down some, but no. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to watch it. I don't know if that's something that I want to watch, because I'm assuming that it's supposed to be a serious show, right? And here we are laughing at Viola Davis's mouth. Maybe if you guys tell me if you watched it and if it really was good, you know, once you was able to get around her whole, you know, her stiff mouth, maybe I will watch it if you guys tell me it was good enough to watch, but as of now, no. Take this damn dog outside. We do this every single week, so make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.